The night bled silver over the ruins of the northern woods. Moonlight slid across shards of glass, skeletal trees, and the faint remains of what had once been a research outpost. Wind carried the low hum of distant machines, remnants of the human age, before dying into the whisper of leaves. Elias sat beside a fading campfire, his jacket torn and bloodstained from a dozen small cuts. Beside him, wrapped in a thermal blanket, slept 3 wolf cubs. Their fur shimmered faintly under the pale light, strands of bioluminescent silver curling along their spines. Every rise and fall of their small chests sent a tremor through his heart. He had not meant to find them. He'd come north to salvage what was left of Station Haven 4, one of the few places rumored to contain functioning nanomedical pods. But instead of supplies, he'd stumbled on the wreckage of a den, metallic scent, blood, and silence. And then he heard them, the tiny cries beneath the collapsed hatch. They were cold, hungry, terrified. And when he reached in, ignoring the pain as one bit his thumb, something deep inside him refused to leave them. For 2 days, he fed them from an improvised bottle and kept them warm against his chest. He knew what they were, lichens, the engineered wolves released decades ago to rebuild the wilderness after the collapse. They had intelligence, hierarchy, emotion. They also had one rule burned into instinct: kill all humans on sight. Elias knew, sooner or later, their pack would come for them. The forest warned him first. Birds vanished. Crickets went silent. The air turned heavy, thick with scent, iron and ash and musk. He knew that smell. He'd tracked wolves before the world fell apart, back when he was still a biologist, not a scavenger. Now, every nerve in his body screamed that something ancient and furious was coming. He rose slowly, keeping his hands visible, and stepped away from the sleeping cubs. A shape emerged from the mist. Then another. Then 5 more, hulking shadows moving in perfect silence, their eyes catching the moonlight like molten gold. The largest stood at the front, her fur streaked with silver, her posture regal and lethal. The Alpha. Her voice echoed not through sound but through the neural implants humanity had once used to communicate with their creations. Human. Step away, : Elias froze. The old link still worked, though he hadn't heard that telepathic tone in years. His throat tightened. I didn't mean harm, he said softly. They were dying. The Alpha's snarl rippled through the clearing. You lie. We smelled your kind's weapons here. The cubs vanished, and then we scented you, : Elias spread his arms wide, exposing his empty hands. I came for medicine. Found your den torn apart by scavenger bots, not me. These little ones were trapped. I freed them. The Alpha's golden eyes flickered to the blanket where the cubs slept. One stirred, yawned, and gave a faint, sleepy whine. The pack tensed, ears forward, muscles coiled, but when the cub blinked up and nuzzled against Elias's leg, a strange stillness rippled through the wolves. The Alpha took a step forward. Then another. Elias could feel her anger, sharp and bright, but beneath it, something uncertain. Grief. He saw it in the way her head lowered slightly toward the smallest cub. I kept them alive, he said. You can take them now. Just don't kill me until you're sure. Her gaze locked on him. Why? Why save what your kind hunted, : He hesitated. Because we built you, and we broke you. Someone had to start fixing that. A silence stretched. The Alpha's fur bristled as the pack spread out, encircling him. But then, one cub gave a soft bark and tumbled from the blanket, landing awkwardly on Elias's boot. The Alpha flinched forward, then stopped when she saw the cub licking his fingers. It was the smallest gesture, but it cracked something open. Their scent on you, it is peace. No fear, colon. The alpha's tone softened, wary curiosity replacing fury. Elias nodded. They trust me. Trust is learned through care, colon. Hours passed before the pack moved closer. Elias remained still, heart pounding, as the wolves approached one by one, sniffing, growling low, testing his scent. The alpha lowered her head, touching her nose briefly to his sleeve. The scent of her cubs lingered there. Warmth, milk, the faint hum of shared heartbeat. Something ancient passed between them. Understanding. Fragile, tentative, real. Elias felt his breath shake. You have my word, they're unharmed. You speak with honor, human. Few of your kind do, colon. He swallowed. There aren't many of us left to prove it. The alpha's golden eyes held his for a long moment. Then she sat down, a gesture that would have once been unthinkable for a creature bred to destroy humans. Their father is gone. The machines tore him apart. I came for vengeance, colon. Elias lowered his gaze. Then we both lost something. Her voice gentled. What did you lose, colon? He hesitated, staring into the fire. My fiancée. She worked at the gene labs, the same ones that made you. When the virus hit, she stayed behind to save the wolves. Said they were innocent. I never saw her again. The alpha's ears flicked forward. Her name, colon. Lyra, he whispered. For the first time, the alpha blinked slowly, almost like a human sigh. There was one among us long ago who spoke that name with reverence. She freed the first litter. Taught us to think. To dream, colon. Elias's throat tightened. Then maybe she succeeded. That night, they stayed together in the clearing, human and wolves beneath the moon. The cubs nestled between them, purring softly in sleep. Elias dozed only briefly, but when he opened his eyes near dawn, he felt warmth beside him. Not fur, but skin. The alpha was gone. In her place knelt a woman with silver hair cascading down her back, faint marks of glowing fur still lining her arms. Her eyes, golden and wild, met his with something that took his breath away. He scrambled upright. You what? Her voice, now soft and real, silenced him. We were made with human strands, remember? Some of us can shift under moonlight or pain. I kept that gift buried until now. Elias stared, awe and disbelief tangling in his chest. Why show me? Because you cared, she said simply. And because my cub sleeps safely beside you. She reached out, fingers grazing his cheek. The touch sent a pulse through his skin, electric, alive. You remind me of the woman who taught us compassion. He almost smiled. Lyra would have liked you. I am her echo, she whispered. Part of her DNA runs through me. Your fiancé lives on in the pack. The words hit him like a wave. For years he had carried the guilt of her death, the loneliness of a world turned to ruins. And now, this being, wolf and woman both, was the living proof that Lyra's dream had survived. Days turned into weeks. Elias stayed with the pack, helping rebuild their den, teaching them to avoid the scavenger drones that still prowled the forests. The alpha, her name, he learned, was Syrah, taught him their language of motion, scent, and emotion. In return, he showed her how to mend wounds, to use the remaining tech without fear. Each night, when the moon rose, Syrah would shift again into her human form, and they would talk beside the fire, of the old world, of hope, of what came next. Slowly, the line between them blurred, until it no longer mattered who had built whom. Sometimes she laughed softly, a sound like running water. Sometimes she fell silent and simply leaned against him, her heartbeat syncing with his. One night, As the cub slept and the fire's glow painted her skin in gold,